समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. So verse 21 now, it says avyaktukshara ityukta ityuktas tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Now, what is called the unmanifest and the imperishable, that they say is the highest goal. In the last verse, we had talked about manifest and unmanifest, and he says here that the unmanifest and the imperishable, that they say is the highest goal, the highest path. They who reach it never again return. That is my highest abode. Now, when he says that is my highest abode, abode generally people translate in English as home. It is my home. That is where I stay when you say abode. Here, abode does not mean that kind of it is Krishna's home or Krishna's house or something, not that. This is a state. This is a state of perfection, the highest perfection. The highest perfection being one with the supreme reality. That is what he says is the highest abode. It is not Krishna, as I have said again and again. He says, Yam prapyana na nivartante. That means having gone there once or having attained, prapya, having attained that thing once, you never come back. You never return. And taddhama paramam mama. So that is paratpara, means beyond the beyond. It is my paramam mama. It is my highest abode. That means it is much beyond the body, mind, intellect, perceiver, feeler, thinker level. And therefore, it is very, very rare that somebody reaches there. So we are at the lower nature, lower prakriti, the ashtadha. Prakriti ashtadha means eightfold prakriti level, most of us. Now, so he says, uh, okay, now over here he says akshara. You know, this akshara he calls the paramam gatim. That means the highest state. Akshara, I told you, has come before also. And see in your footnotes in chapter 3 and 13 of this very chapter, it says, one is aksharam brahma paramam. Verse 3 says aksharam brahma paramam, and then the 13th verse is aksharam brahma. So these two are again references to the same thing. Akshara means that which cannot be destroyed, and Brahma, the supreme reality. So he is repeating himself over here to tell you that this is the state where everybody needs to reach. This is the pure self which lends dynamism to matter. Otherwise, matter cannot act. So it gives existence, it gives dynamism, it gives action to dead matter, and makes you capable of exhausting your vasanas. All right, then in every other state, you may reach any other state, as he writes over here. There is avagaman. Avagaman means coming and going, coming and going. Now, take for example, anything in the world, you take and it will take back something from you. So you return from that immediately. You go to that state, you run after it because you think that that will give me permanent joy. But when you go to that state, there is always a return. Hmm? Like Tejumani ji always says that आप लोग करते हैं make up. So when कहेंगे जब make down होता है तब देखो शक्ल अपनी. I used to say you all do make up, so there is a make down also. Stock exchange. Just imagine, stock exchange, you exchange peace and happiness for money. Think about it. And so people keep running after that money, keep running after that money till they lose all their peace in life, till they lose all their happiness in life. So there is a rebound from everything. There's a rebound from everything. Relationship, you start with a very loving forever and ever, I love you forever and ever, and then slowly the relation remains, the ship sinks. So this kind of a thing keeps on happening. So up and down आप आते जाते रहते हैं. So naturally those states are not permanent states, right? They are riddled with pain and finitude. The body is a home of pain and finitude. ऐसे कहते हैं शरीर धर्म होता है, देह धर्म होता है. Pain and suffering is the fate of every single body, whether it is a criminal or a saint. Whosoever you are, no matter how rich you are, no matter how poor you are, whatever you are, how skilled you are, there will be pain, the body will suffer sometime or the other, there will be disease, decay, death, all that the body visits. And so, naturally, it is not a permanent state. Remember the example of the blackboard? लिखा हुआ बदलता है, ब्लैकबोर्ड नहीं बदलता. The blackboard remains, and again there is a different writing on that according to whatever you are pursuing. And despite the fact that the body is so much riddled with pain, and yet जब आप शरीर आपको मिलता है, you celebrate. Not only then when a child is born, but every year. Some mothers and fathers very excited celebrate their child's birthday every month. I know such people because so dear the child is, and they're celebrating the birthday every month. They do not know that that body is riddled with pain and suffering, which the child will get when the child grows up, even as a child. So like that. Okay. Now this state, ये जो है ना परमम, he says paramam mama, taddhama paramam mama. So this stage when you reach is not a returnable stage. It is a one-way ticket. One-way ticket to happiness. So like many people, youngsters of today say, I don't want to go there. I enjoy life. Why should I go there? And if I can't come back, and I think life is very beautiful, and why shouldn't I come back? Till they get a kick. Till they get a kick in their body, or they get a kick in a relationship, or they get a kick in the situations in their life. Life is very beautiful. It is like asking कि भाई आप जेल क्यों नहीं गए, हाँ आप हॉस्पिटल क्यों नहीं गए. Those are the examples Gurudev is given, and he says कि जेल क्यों नहीं गए is not what people ask. People ask कि आप जेल क्यों गए. If you've gone to jail, then the question is not why you didn't go. You don't ask a normal person कि आप जेल क्यों नहीं गए. How it's silly to ask such a thing. The only thing question asked is why. If somebody has gone to jail, the people ask why did he go to jail. So the question is okay, but then it is a wrong question, because if you go to a higher state of happiness and there is, you yourself decide that there is no, I don't want to go back. Like we know so many people in India who go to richer countries to earn more money or to have a good career. They don't want to come back. Why? Because they are happier there. Got it? Similarly, this state is the happiest state. It is so blissful. It is total bliss and complete bliss forever. So, why does anybody want to come back to this lower place where there is always a rebound, always a rebound? You run after something, then that something itself will give you pain. Then again, you run after another thing, and again, it will give you pain. So, this is the most fulfilling, complete satisfaction where you get this is the state. Whereas the normal person is, Gurudev says that he is burrowed under a dung heap in his mind and intellect, and there is a filthy atmosphere. Gurudev used to say that the teacher, with his teaching, tries to bring you out of there and to make you breathe fresh air. But because of the pressure of your vasanas, you want to go back to that. So, like a worm, you crawl back again and again to the same thing. This state allows you to hatch out of your limitations. You are no longer just from shoulder to shoulder. Me. This is me. All the rest is others. The world is someplace else. It is not you. Right? So, what have you done? You have limited yourself. You have limited your happiness. You have limited your potentialities. And this state is pure consciousness, permanent bliss. So it is Tadhama Paramam Mama. It is Tadhama means house or home, but that is my abode, Krishna says. And Krishna is nothing else but pure happiness. This state, not Krishna the individual, is pure happiness. So this is just poetically described, as Gurudev has put it, as the highest you can reach. Now, if the question that is the last question, what is the direct path by which this consummate goal can be reached, is explained in the following verse. Purusha sapara partha bhaktya labhyastvananyaya yasyantah sthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. Sorry for my Sanskrit, but this Sandhi I couldn't read. The highest Purusha, O Partha, is attainable by unswerving devotion. Carefully. Huh? This is Krishna talking. That highest Purusha, he is using the word Purusha as described in the Prashna Upanishad, and Purusha, the highest truth. Purusha, the dynamism of the world. Purusha, the pure consciousness. So that is what Purusha. So the highest Purusha, O Partha, Partha is Arjun. Arjun is called Partha, is attainable by unswerving devotion. So he is giving you the path, how to reach this home, how to reach the highest is by unswerving devotion. Please mark the word unswerving. Unswerving does not mean off and on. It doesn't mean off and on. It is not a love-hate relationship with the Lord. It is unswerving. Totally, always, always. It is not a divided loyalty where you go telling the Lord that I love you, but all that you are asking for is, oh Lord, my property, my wife, my girl, my son, my this, my that, my money. This Gurudev used a very strong word for it. He used to say, this is prostituting bhakti. I will give you love if you give me these things. What else is called? Prostituting. My love is conditional to this, 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 this. And he says that in this, Gurudev said that you are disloyal to both. You are disloyal to the Lord because you are trying to fool him by telling him that I love you. and you are disloyal to yourself because you are dishonest to yourself. You saying to the Lord that I love you, but in fact, you love your property, your money, your son, your factory, your relation, whoever your relatives are. That is what you are asking him. So, unswerving devotion is total loyalty, and to him alone, within whom all beings dwell, by whom all this is pervaded. Hmm? Now, what is love? When he says unswerving devotion, total devotion is total identification. The more you identify with the person, the more you love the person. Hmm? देखो, वो जो सूफी भजन है जिसमें ये कहते हैं, वो करें याद उन्हें जिनने भुलाया हो कभी, राइट? वो करें याद उन्हें जिनने भुलाया हो कभी, हमने न भुलाया न कभी याद किया. Why? Because you never forget yourself. This is total identification. You will remember only that which you had forgotten. Then you say ना मैंने याद किया. क्योंकि why? Because the opposite. आप भूल गए थे. Here he says हमने न भुलाया न कभी याद किया is the awakening into yourself that I am him. He and I are the same. See? Once you wake up, can you have a plan to go and meet the waker? Think. You are the waker. You become the waker. So, where can you go to meet him? There is total identification of the dreamer with the waker. Once that identification takes place, there is no such thing as going to meet the waker or praying to the waker or going. So, the many Sufis do not even pray to the Lord. They say that it is me myself. So, whom can I pray to? Right? So you awake into a new dimension, you awake into a new state of consciousness from which there is no return. The waker cannot go back into the dream. No matter how beautiful the dream was, can any waker, once he has woken up and he realizes that I was not that dreamer, it was an illusion, it was all only in my mind, how can he go back? He realizes that the dreamer never was. It is only the waker. Hmm? So here he says that unswerving devotion to him alone, he says within whom all beings dwell, by whom all this is pervaded. So all the beings are in him and he pervades all of them. The example Gurudev has given is the ocean. All waves are in the ocean, and ocean is in every wave, right? A wave has no existence without the ocean. But if the wave keeps on thinking, I am a rafter, this is a small wave, I am a big wave, my name is this, my name, it is the same with us. Each one, everyone is nothing other than the each wave is the ocean. Similarly, each of us is pervaded entirely by him and him alone. Mud, every pot is different, the shape is different, name is different, uh, right? Form and name are different, but they are all mud. This is a milk pot, this is a water pot. They are both the What are they in essence? Names are different, form may be different, one may be large, big, small, ugly, beautiful, anything. But in essence, they are mud, and there can be no existence of the pots without the mud. Similarly, you and I, we cannot exist without him. Even to deny him, you need his power to empower your mind, intellect, and your tongue to deny him and say there is no such thing as God. There is no such thing as super consciousness. Have you seen a dead mass of flesh, bones, skin, hair lying as a dead man? Can he deny God? He doesn't have the power to deny God. Think about it. So he is the all pervasive, all over, and he pervades everything, right? Okay. Now, then, the devotee can also ask that what is the method to attach to him? How do I attach to him? How do I love him so much? The only way to the only way is attach, and only you can then detach from this world of plurality. If you think ulta, first I will develop vairagya for everything, and then I will pray to the Lord, wo nahi hoga. Unless and until your mind and intellect is purely with him, purely in love with him, purely understands him, purely understands that he dwells not just in you, in your body from shoulder to shoulder, but he is everywhere. You can only then expand out of your mind, intellect, and body and merge with him. Otherwise, you cannot. So there has to be a pervasive view. There has to be a total expanse of understanding. Only then, and only then can you detach from the world. So we have so many preoccupations all the time. I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to go here, I have to buy this, I have to, all kind of things. So we keep doing that and we keep doing that, but what we forget is he that empowers us to do. He that empowers us to do. Him we forget most of the time. Hmm? So here it is that this thing you must always remember, that the unmanifested comes to be projected and manifested only with his grace. Okay. Now, so then, again, another example Gurudev has given over here is cotton. No cloth can exist without cotton. It is basically cotton. It may be different designs, it may be different colors, it may be different fashion and differently stitched and all the rest of it. But hai kya wo? The support is cotton. If you remove cotton from the cloth, then there is no cloth. So then that. So this pure awareness is everywhere, into everything, and everything is in it also. So this you must understand. And then when you reach this, once you understand this, then there is no return. Okay. So he says, then what are the paths? He had said no, that there are two paths, and I'll tell you the two paths. So the question the student is asking, what are the two paths? Now he says, यत्र काले त्वनावृत्तिम् आवृत्तिं चैव योगिनः प्रयाता यान्ति तं कालं वक्ष्यामि भरतर्षभ. Bharata Rishabha. Bharatarshabha, Bharata Rishabha. I have explained this many times, that Bharat was the dynasty of Arjuna and Rishab was his title. Rishab is a bull, but just because it was an agricultural country and the bull along with the cow was worshipped, because bull is a very, very useful animal. He has tremendous strength, and all that he eats is dry straw. He eats dry straw, that is his demand, and he gives out his entire life and energies to serve his master, the farmer. So he puts in so much of effort. He works from morning to night. So such a person was called Rishabha, who gives his entire life for the service of mankind. So here Arjun is called Rishabha, and Rishabha of the Bharata clan, and that is why the Sandhi Bharatarshabha. Okay. Now, at what time, path departing, yogins go never to return, as also to return, that time or path I will tell you, O chief of Bharatas. Now, here, time. Understand, time has many, many meanings. Here, it can be kale means in due course of time. It can mean that. काल आने पर ऐसा बोलते हैं ना काल आने पर हाँ अच्छा द अदर कैन बी all the time the time which is on the external body time which is from one point or one happening to another happening as we count it the time जो सूर्य पे निर्भर है right we calculate time how from the sun we calculate time from the sun right so then here also, see, he says, no, sorry, where am I? Okay. Now here when he says time, dekho, one is the flickering joys among sense objects people run after. Gurudev says that they keep on running after, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. So he is telling you two paths. No? So one path is the flickering joys among sense objects which he runs after, and then he reaches only those. Dekho, it is as simple as that. As your thoughts, so you become. So if you are running after sense objects, where will you reach? You will reach the sense objects alone. But as we did in the previous verse, that there is a return from there. Those sense objects, once having given you a small bit of pleasure, will kick you. They can become the source of sorrow also, isn't it? Hmm. So here it is. Many times, many times it so happens. You have children for joy. You know, what is the object of having a child? I want more joy. I want to multiply more joy. Okay. But have you seen the mother and father? What happens after the birth? We all know. Run after milk bottles, change nappies, doctor visits one after the other. If the child is awake at night, you are awake at night, you can't sleep, you can't. And then the whole chain goes on till you die. Indian parents, they can never leave. They never leave the child all the time. What have you eaten? Did you sleep or not? What is happening to you? What? And they are concerned with that child, marriage, after marriage, even his children, they want to bring up. तो क्या हुआ आप बंध गए ना यू टाइड सो सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट्स हैव अ वे ऑफ चेनिंग यू so if you run after sense of pleasures and sense object, no doubt they give you pleasure, but that pleasure is limited and for a short while, and the same object can also give you pain. So this is one path. The other path is the imperishable Akshara Brahma. When you go towards Akshara Brahma, that is the changeless substratum, that is the changeless Adhar on which you stand, and the whole universe stands. Not only you stand, but the whole universe, it is the substratum of the universe. And it is permanent, it is Akshara, imperishable. And you reach a happiness which is not returnable. It stays with you always and forever. It is the embrace of the whole. It is the embrace of the entire. Whereas sense pleasures is just limited to you. Perceiver, feeler, thinker is the only one that can think of these pleasures. So And now then, why is there no return? Because the joy that you get there is infinite. It is not a finite joy. Infinite bliss, infinite peace, infinite joy. And that is your, you realize you don't need to run to any place to get it. It is you yourself, it is your essential nature. Bliss is your essential nature. That is why everyone runs for happiness. Everyone is running around in the world to get more happiness from wrong things, of course. You can never get water by digging sand. Now, so here the word kale, kale, that it shows both time of departure from the body, that is one meaning. The other meaning is the death of the ego. When the ego dies, the individuality dies, and individuality consists of body, mind, and intellect. So that is one kal. When you depart from the body, means body, mind, and intellect. The other is when you die, your physical body dies. So the death of the ego is one meaning, and the other is that meaning. Now come to this. The path pursued by those who have no return is as follows. Now, first, he's given you the path of sensuality, running after toys in the world. And I told you that that is all finite joy. You get pleasure, but for a very short while, and then it can turn into pain also. This is the other path. So, here we do this one now. अग्निर्ज्योतिरः शुक्लः षण्मासा उत्तरायणं तत्र प्रयाता गच्छन्ति ब्रह्म ब्रह्मविदो जनाः. Now, look what it is. He says that ये देखो, this verse is very often, this and the next one is also very often misunderstood by people because they go after word meanings, whereas I am telling you right at the outset before explaining the verse that this is the mystical language of the Upanishads. The mystical language of the Upanishad, light or any source of light is the same as knowledge. ठीक है ना? हाँ, knowledge and light are correlated. The light of knowledge, they say. That is why we light the lamp, to dispel the darkness, to dispel the darkness of ignorance. Dispelling, we don't turn off the lamps, we don't blow off the candles, we light, ignite. Before every auspicious occasion, a lamp is lighted. Why? Because may the light of knowledge dispel the darkness of ignorance over here. May the light brighten every intellect. It is symbolic, it is mystical. So, all these images of light I am reading here: fire, light, daytime, and the bright fortnight. Now, see, fire is light is light, daytime when the sun is shining, and the bright fortnight when the moon phase, 15 days when the moon is waxing. Waxing means it is increasing, right? So from the darkest, it slowly becomes full moon, which is called the bright fortnight. And the 6 months of the northern solstice. 6 months of the northern solstice, are the summer months, when summer starts, right? And summer starts, and then usko India mein that is called Uttarayan. Uttarayan, that means when the sun starts going north. That is called Uttarayan, and therefore it is celebrated. Uttarayan is celebrated in India. The northern solstice is celebrated in India because it symbolizes brightness, it symbolizes light, it symbolizes knowledge. That is, and it is called Uttarayan because the sun is going north. Similarly, anything auspicious that is done in India, you face the north or you face the east where the sun rises. That is the reason that it is the abode of light. So people pray facing north. Yeah? Puja rooms are made in such a way where you, when you sit and pray, you are facing either north or east. You do not face the west or the south. That is considered inauspicious, even according to the energies of the earth, which the scientists and all are telling us now. But it has been there forever with us that Uttarayan is celebrated. Okay. Now here's so bright water and the 6 months of the northern solstice. Following this path, men who know Brahman go to Brahman. Brahmavida. Brahmavida means he who knows the Brahman goes to Brahman alone. Brahma is the ultimate true reality, the pure consciousness that pervades the whole world. That in Hindu philosophy is Vedic philosophy is called Brahma. So he says the knower of Brahma goes to Brahma. Similarly, as the person who runs after sense objects goes to some sense objects, the person who runs after the supreme reality or wants to merge with the supreme reality goes to the supreme reality. The path of light is taken by the Brahmavida. It is the path where you do not return because so much of bliss, so much of beatitude is there that there is no return. So here, these verses, when you read, now see, I read it again. Fire, light, daytime, the bright fortnight, 6 months of the northern solstice. This is a path. He is saying, following this path. What does it mean? He has only given you images of light, right? He has only given you images that remove darkness. So when you go towards light, when you go towards knowledge which reveals the reality to you, only light can reveal anything that you can perceive, isn't it? Or you can see in darkness. You can't see in darkness. Huh? If you are searching in ignorance, that is like searching a black cat in a dark room. You will never find it. So it is only with the help of light that you begin to perceive, light of the intellect, brightness of the intellect, that you begin to see knowledge or you begin to understand knowledge. This highest knowledge is not for every intellect. There are intellects that are so dull that even when the teacher is teaching this knowledge, they find it too complex to understand and they run away. सो अधिकारी नहीं है, what is called पात्रता नहीं है उनमें. See, Ganges is flowing, but you can only take that much water as much is the size of your pot that you have brought. If you brought a glass bottle, only one glass bottle you can take. If you brought a huge jar, the whole jar you can take. The Ganges is not saying no. It is your capacity, your capability. Here, the capability of a Brahmavid. Brahmavid means the knower of Brahma is to be absorbed in Brahma. He alone can be absorbed in Brahma with the help of knowledge. All these images are images of light which show you knowledge. But otherwise, if you just read it like this and you translate like this, it seems as if there is no sense in the verse, and people criticize it also. Don't forget that Geeta, when you sing the praise of Geeta, it one line comes that it is the milk of the Upanishads. The milk of the Upanishads is in the Gita. What does it mean? The essence of the Upanishads is in the Gita. So it cannot talk nonsense. These images are light images which are symbolic. I have told you this is the mystical Upanishad language. Now he is telling you of two paths. One is Devayan and the other is Pitrayan. The path to the sense objects is called the Pitrayan, huh? And the path to the divine is called Devayan. Devayan means the path that leads to Deva, the ultimate Devata. And Pitrayan is the path of the ancestors. Now see, this thing, the stanza, the path talks of Kramamukti. Kramamukti is gradual liberation. Slowly, 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 you do it. Now, it cannot be that overnight you reach. You cannot reach overnight. It is a Kramamukti. And Kramamukti is those, supposing you live the life of karmas, you live the life of rituals, you live the life of upasana, you slowly, slowly gain mental purity. And when you get mental purity, you slowly, slowly are advancing on this path. Okay? So it is not overnight. It cannot happen immediately or suddenly. So understand that. Now, see, here fire, flame, daytime, the bright fortnight, and the 6 months of the northern solstice. These are indicative of the Devayan, indicative of the path towards the God, indicative that this is the way. Knowledge is the way. The only meaning, take it simply. Knowledge is the only way to reach there. And knowledge is not everybody's cup of tea. They do not even want to listen to it. Haven't you heard people saying that, oh, when I'm old and all, then I'll read the Gita, then I'll do. It is not for old people. It is even youngsters who are attracted by the Gita. They they slink into the Gita class quietly, that any of their friends should not be looking that they attend the Gita. Just imagine. Why? Because there is a concept that this is only for older people when they are about to die. That is not it. In this Krama Mukti mein, you have to make the effort slowly, slowly, right from the beginning. You should practice it in your family so that the little children can see it and learn from it. It is the path of knowledge. It is a bright path towards which you are taking the children. It is a path which will help you to bear the kicks of life joyfully, as if there was no kick at all. Only Gita enables you. Only the knowledge enables you. This has nothing to do with Hinduism. This has got, it is a universal scripture teaching you an intelligent way of living your life, where even when you get sorrow, you do not feel the sorrow. That is what this is about. So he is giving you this path. Now he says that everything is in the Creator himself, which you understand slowly. When he talks of the sun, he talks of the bright fortnight, and he talks of daytime. Daytime is the sun, bright fortnight is the moon. 6 months of the northern solstice is the sun. So when he's talking of the sun and moon, see, where do the sun and moon exist? Tell me. They exist in the universe. The light is all pervasive in the universe. When you say you cannot see the sun, or you say that you cannot see the moon, have they disappeared from the sky? Think. No, they have not disappeared from the sky. Your world has turned. We know it, na? Geographically, you know that your world has turned. The sun or the moon has not disappeared. It is the positioning of your mind which should be in total harmony with light and only then can you perceive. Please understand this point. It is your tuning up with light. That is when you will see, begin to perceive, begin to see what knowledge is teaching you, what knowledge is showing you. So the sun and the moon in the dream, when Vedanta says that this whole universe is a dream, okay, supposing you are dreaming and you see the sun and the moon in your dream, where does the sun and the moon exist? In your own mind, isn't it? So the Chandra and the Surya that he is talking about also exist in your elusive dream, in the dream of you and I. But the fact is that they are light sources, and he is taking them, these are just light images telling you that go towards light, go towards light. Everybody in the world, in every possible religion, looks to the sky and prays. Why? The sun and moon are up. And so divinity is imagined as on a higher plane. Even a layman imagines divinity as somewhere higher than himself. Nobody looks to Patal Lok and prays. किसी को देखा है? Nobody does. Everybody looks up. है ना? So ये है the images of light. Now when you identify with that center, that when you identify with that great grand reality, with that pure consciousness, it is as such an upasak goes towards the truth. He is the Brahmavid. He is the Brahmavid, and his whole life he has been praying to that one Lord, and he reaches that Lord. As I said, as you think, so you become, right? As you think, so you become. So when, because you have आपने सारी जिंदगी वो करा है, तो फिर आपके थॉट चैनल्स हैव are in the direction of the supreme, and you will go to the supreme. हाँ, वो कवाली है ना जो मस्जिदों में गाते हैं, तेरा इश्क मैं कैसे छोड़ दूं, मेरी उम्र भर की तलाश है. You heard that line? It's a very famous कव्वाली. तेरा इश्क मैं कैसे छोड़ दूं, मेरे उम्र भर की तलाश है. So if it has been a lifelong search, your thought channels are directed towards the light, and you will reach light. When your thoughts are going towards light, when you are compelled to go towards light, you are going to be with light. Sun is the presiding deity of energy. Sun is the presiding deity of life. It generates life and nourishment in this world, and that is why the image of the sun and moon, because the sun and moon nourish the entire world. That is why the sun worship in India. It is not heretic. It is not a pagan thing. It is, you worship the sun because you benefit so much from the sun. You worship any source of light because in that light you can perceive whether it is the light of the supreme functioning through your intellect or it is the outside light. But light is worshipped in India. So when you go towards light, all these terms are borrowed from the Upanishads. I told you in a mystic language. I also told you the word Uttarayan is also mentioned many a times in the Upanishads. So Uttarayan means going towards the north. That means going in the direction of light. That is basically what it means. Flowing northward. Now also over here, I may have told you before, but I will repeat myself that Gurudev told us that even the Ganges or any sacred river in India, when it takes a northward turn, at that bend, there is always a temple. Even if there is a small temple, go to Uttarakhand and you will notice and see. Haridwar, Rishikesh, when you drive up even to Uttarkashi and all, the Ganges is flowing along with you, right? And it is flowing down, but then suddenly it will take a turn and start going towards the north. Gurudev used to say that is symbolic of man's searching for the higher. So, what is the direction? North. So, whenever the man looks up, whenever the human being lifts his gaze to the higher, that will reach him to the higher. So, every time the Ganges turns north, there is a temple there for to symbolize man's reaching out to a higher than himself, spiritually higher than himself. So that is all for today, and we will do the next verse next time. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurabhyo Namaha Hari Om.